but I was able to use the tools that I had as a neuro coach to design the life I wanted before I even left the life I didn't want.
I have so much stuff I wanted to talk to you about. I want to ask you. So I
I'm
feel
an
like
open book.
we have known each other for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And gosh, I remember being I'm a board member of the Community Foundation and seeing your work at the foundation for their annual magazine. And it was just phenomenal, right? And then I reached out to you and said, is there any chance you can do this? Because Stonehouse needs a facelift. And it's been, the rest has been history, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have done, it really was more or less graphic design
Yes.
at that time when we were introduced. But
Yes.
you're doing a heck of a lot now. and you're one of the more motivated people I know. And I like that. And I think the best way I would describe you is, I think I said this to you one time recently, that every time I talk to you, I feel better when I leave. And that's a unique quality. And I like to I have other people in my life that make me feel that way. And I love to be surrounded by that. So how can people get more of you?
Oh, well, it depends.
That's such an open-ended question.
Depends on the person.
But what I mean by that is, the purpose of this podcast, right, is for people to get a glimpse inside of the individual in that chair or that side of the table. So what is it about you that keeps you motivated, keeps you driving forward, looking for change, looking to get better all the time and help people around you? You're the most giving person.
I love people. I really and truly love people.
I believe that.
I feel like one of my superpowers is being able to get someone relatively quickly. And maybe that's why people feel good around me. I've heard that so many times. Honestly, that people just no, you are special. You're
Never mind,
special, Mom.
Well, I don't know what that was.
Your dear heart.
Oh, gosh. No, this isn't we're not going to get all sentimental.
No.
But I need you to cry for me.
Okay. Give me a minute.
No, it's not.
But no, I have been told that many times. And I do think that I really just genuinely love people. And I believe in their ability to achieve anything they truly want. I feel like people get in their own way more than anybody else, more than any external circumstances. And I think that's why I love being a coach, because I love to coach people through overcoming their own internal kind of glass ceiling that their brain has put on themselves. Because as a creative, I feel like I can see potential where people can't see it in themselves.
Oh, interesting.
Right. So even as a designer, as a brand designer, people would come and say, oh, I have this idea for a business, or this is my business and this is where I kind of want to take it, but I don't know how. As a creative person, I feel like I was able to kind of pull from different industries or very easily put myself in the seat of their potential audience and see things from different angles and then combine it in a way using my skill of design to attract the right people.
Yeah, I can see that.
But prior to any of that, I had to understand my client on a level that maybe they didn't even understand themselves and ask questions that kind of dug deeper than surface level. And I think all of that kind of habitual training of listening for so long and then creating with my own two hands and creating nothing but an idea in collaboration with my clients kind of propelled me toward becoming a neuro coach, because I could see how some people, yourself included, would become successful and how some others would have an idea and let it flop. And there weren't any other differences in the same economy, in the same geographical location, the same opportunities, the same audience. How would some people be successful and some people would totally fail?
What was the secret?
It's themselves.
Perfect.
It's their self-talk. It's their perspective. It's their mentality, you know?
Yeah.
And so I love working with high achievers.
So I know this question is going to catch you by surprise, but when you say you're very good at kind of you get people, right? Do you think it comes back to the years that you grew up in the restaurant business?
Potentially.
Like, because everybody walks through the door and you're like, oh, this person's going to do this or ask for this, or, oh, I love this person. They're awesome.
Yeah. So most people know my dad was third generation in a restaurant business, and my sisters and I were fourth. So we grew up in that kitchen,
right,
rolling meatballs when we could stand, and yeah, you're right. In a busy restaurant, you have to read the room and pick up on so many nuances.
Right.
Who needs a drink?
Yeah.
Who wants you to come over to their table? Who doesn't?
Who just wants you to come over and talk to them?
Right.
And tell stories.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So how does one, what got you, so you went from graphic designing, at least when we first met. And
that's what I went to school for.
Yeah. And you're absolutely phenomenal with it.
Oh, I love it.
And what you just described, you did with us. I remember we put the Life Stack book together and you were like, hey, look, I don't know all that you know, and I'm not getting this. We need to word it differently. And,
I always say another one of my superpowers is being like smart enough to understand really smart people and dumb enough to be able to distill it down to be able to translate it to the rest of the population. Yeah. So it's like I'm like right in the middle.
Yeah. I always like to say, pretend I'm not really smart.
Yeah.
How would you explain it?
Exactly. Just pretend.
Yeah, that's actually the truth. But so you were graphic design and really crushing it, right? Because, we loved what you did for us. And I know that whoever became a client of yours stayed a client of yours for the most part. And all of a sudden you're doing neuro coaching. Not all of a sudden. There was a lot in between. So tell me about how that eventually evolved to where you are today there.
So I mean, my design business started with just me and my laptop, 27 years old. I was sick of corporate America, and I said, I have these side jobs that are maybe bringing in like $15,000 a year, and I'm not even trying. It's like a nice side hustle. So I was like, well, I wonder if I really focused on it and I really put a lot of time and attention into each and every one of my clients, I bet I could double what I'm doing for each of them. I bet I could serve them greater and more. I'm sure I have other skill sets that they're not paying for. How can I add more value to my current list? And then if I just get a couple more clients, and then I started to think, well, who could I reach out to? And so I just saved a bunch of money and I quit and doubled down on the design business. And then...
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
How did you, when you started to put those ideas in your head, if I could do more for my clients and things like that, did you just think of it while you're sitting on the couch at night, or were you researching others in your industry? Who's got something that's working a little better than what I am today? Are you always on the prowl for that information? Or
no,
was it
I've
just
never been one of those business owners that's like, there's a hole. There's something that's not being served. This is what people want, and there's a gap, and I can fill it.
Yeah.
Or how can I fill it? Unfortunately, I don't have that superpower. I'm more like, what gifts do I have, and who could they benefit, and why?
Okay.
So I did take a class. The SBDC at the time, Small Business Development Center, was doing a class. It was something like a business class for creatives. So clearly there's a gap in creatives not knowing how to run a business. But I did take a minor in marketing in college. So I did have a little bit of a business mind. And I think growing up in a family business, I had a business mind.
Marketing isn't. Yeah, well, that's fine.
It is and it isn't.
Yeah, marketing is good on trying to, on building business, getting it, but running business is like a different subset.
Yeah, it is
of skills.
totally different.
But
so I did start there. And then I grew my business, and I was really crushing it, and I was managing it all by myself. I would subcontract here and there occasionally as clients needed it, but I was really running the ship myself. I was doing all the work. And then I got pregnant with my first daughter. And I remember going to my SCORE mentor at the time, We talked about SCORE before,
Yeah.
Senior Corps of Retired Executives.
Nice.
And I have to give Marty a shout out. He really was there from day one. But I remember sitting across from the diner table from him, and I'm like, Marty, I have it in my head that I can't be a successful mom and a successful business owner. And I said those words. And as soon as I said it, I was like, ooh. And I think even then, I must have. So this was
like you felt like you gave up.
It's
or
like
something?
a mindset thing.
Okay.
I knew that my mindset could sway my outcome. And so I had to share that with someone who could help me shift my perspective.
Nice.
And help tell me you can do both.
Gotcha.
You absolutely can do both.
People do.
You've built this. You've already had a child. Like we talked about in another episode, I've birthed a business. And this is just another child, right? In just a different capacity. So at that point, I realized I needed help. I really needed dedicated help. And I was so blessed to find Laria Webby, who is now my creative director. And she's been with me for almost 6 years now. Yeah. Yeah. So then I hired an employee, and she's still my only one. I don't want to grow big. That was never my goal with Inspired. I never really wanted to become a huge ad agency or serve really, really big clients because I didn't want to lose the heart and soul of what we did. I love small business, and I love a small client list. I love doing a good job for a small amount of people instead of like a mediocre job for a lot of people.
Agree.
Yep. So we keep our client list really small.
Laria is great.
Yeah, she is. She's so
fantastic,
talented.
yes.
So talented.
Shout out to Laria.
Yeah, shout out. So then I had my second child the next year.
That happens.
Yeah, that happens. And it was after that I felt like I should have felt more successful than I did. I felt, I mean, on paper, I was earning a decent salary working from my home office. I had 2 maternity leaves, decent, on my own. I was married. We had the house in the cul-de-sac, and life was good. I had a full-time employee. I had the clients. Like, everything was fine.
On paper.
I was depressed. Couldn't get out of bed.
Really?
Wasn't eating or drinking.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, like this was 2000, early 2017.
Really?
Totally depressed. And now here I am. I have 2 babies. I have a business to run, a house to manage. It was a lot. It was a lot, but totally, totally, totally depressed. So I did go to therapy.
Okay.
I knew that was a resource that I wanted and needed. And then shortly after that, my husband at the time took a job 3 hours away. He got promoted and had to live in a camper by the river 3 hours away. And it was during that time that I said to myself, I need to be at the top of my game if I'm truly going to do this alone. If I'm going to maintain the level of business that I have, if I'm going to take care of my 2 children, take care of the house, plow, like have the driveway clear of snow, like all the things. Yeah. And so I said, what am I doing that can go so that I can improve myself? Where am I wasting time? Where am I wasting energy? Where am I not taking care of myself? Because I knew that I was at the core of this ship running. And
so you did that not out of ambition, but out of, I don't have a choice.
I don't have a choice. Yeah. And everything around me means so much to me that without me investing in myself, not only would everything crumble, I would crumble too. Like, yeah.
Kind of like burn all the boats. This is like your only chance.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's when I was driving my daughters back and forth to daycare, and I would listen to podcasts. And so here we go, full circle. Yeah. And it was during one of those podcasts where I heard a doctor of neuropsychology talking about mindset and the brain and how We can rewire our thoughts and how a thought always precedes an emotion. And if you're feeling emotions that are undesirable and not helping you, well, guess what? You can control the thoughts that are happening. 95% are in your subconscious mind. Only a small portion are what we're using and thinking and like solving problems with. So that intrigued me so much. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give up 2 hours of TV every night. I'm not going to sit down and say, I'm tired. I worked so hard. I earned it. I'm just vegging. This is what moms do. I need it. I need downtime. Like, I was sick of those excuses because that wasn't serving me. Well, 2 hours a day, that's 10 plus hours a week.
Yeah.
You know, that's a waste. For what? So I invested that time then into learning how the brain works and how I could leverage my own brain for my version of success and, you know, feeling successful. And that's what I did. That's how I became a neuro coach.
There's a lot in there I didn't know. Now, and as a friend, I almost feel like when you tell me that, I'm like, why didn't you call?
Yeah.
Like we would have had a lunch or something. I don't know. Not like I would have said something amazing during a lunchtime or something. But yeah, no, I didn't know. Maybe that's a reason, right, that you and I are so passionate about doing this podcast, right? There's probably people all over the place.
Silently suffering.
That's right. Yeah. They
Silently
can't let it happen
suffering.
outside the house. That's what happens inside.
Yeah. And you can't, there aren't a lot of people you can talk to. And people don't get it. People don't get the pressures of running a business unless they have. And, you know, sometimes it's scary to admit that something's off.
Yeah.
Especially when you're perceived as someone who's always got their shit together. Major life and business changes can really shake things up for worse, and sometimes, I believe, for the better. As a certified neuro coach, I know that when we are in an area of transformation in our lives that we did not choose, or maybe we did, we're bumped up against our comfort zone. And when that happens, our subconscious mind gets louder and louder and tries to pull us back to where we feel safe. But I know as a certified neuro coach that this is the perfect time to take this transformation and turn it into something that you desire, something that you want. This is the perfect time to rewire those old limiting beliefs that have gotten in your way, and let's break free from that in this time of transformation and make it work for you. Let's turn this into a magical moment. I would love to hear from you. You can book a call on my website at mariaconigliaro.com. Let's make this transformation last.
Well, speaking of that, when you say that you found a way to basically reallocate those 2 hours a night or whenever you did it, to me that's always a sign of you've been involved with boards as well. But like when I'm on volunteer boards, and it's always, no matter how big your board is, and you need help with something, and you look at your board member list, and it's your instinct to go, I won't ask him or her because they're super busy, but those are the people that'll get it done. Right? They are people, successful people, find a way to allocate, juggle the time, shift it around. Great example. I'll go to like people say, I can't listen to podcasts. You know, I get an hour to go to the gym. That's it. I mean, you might be surprised if you pick my headphones out of my ears at the gym. I'm usually listening to a podcast. No, I'd rather listen to music, but like the only time I get a chance to listen to that one thing I wanted to hear more about is that hour for that day, then that's what I'm doing. Yeah. And so you're going to find a way, which you thought was your recharge your batteries time. Right. But you found a different way to use that time, which actually ended up recharging your batteries. Exactly. That's so cool. Yeah. That's so cool. And so, well, you didn't just like learn more about it. You got certified? I did. I started to learn, and then I was like, oh, I can get certified in this. And having worked with so many business owners over the years and being passionate about marketing, which is really consumer behavior, which is really mindset. Yeah. Right? Like I've always been, you know, someone who likes to go deep. Yeah, it was a natural fit. I was just really anxious to continue to talk to high achievers. Those are my favorite people to work with. Yeah. Not that I won't work with, you know, people who are still on their journey toward a growth mindset.
but truly it's the high achievers, the ambitious ones, the ones that have that deep drive, that know that they are the only ones standing in the way of their next level. Because then once they are conscious of that, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
We can skyrocket from there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so much you can do. I always wonder about those folks who are very successful. I'm always curious, like, who do they go to for inspiration, for guidance? I try to ask that when I can, when it's the right moment, but I get a lot of different answers.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably unique to the individual, because what I would say is if they're in tune with their own self, the more in tune they are with their own vision, values, purpose, and their security and steadfastness with that, then from there they pick what's next for them and their their mentor or their where they get knowledge or education. I think if it comes from within first, it's going to be in alignment. I think a lot of people are subject to shiny object syndrome, where it's like, I know there's something more.
Yeah.
Is it that? Is it that? Is it that? Oh, I'll try this. Oh, no, it's that.
Right.
And it's so easy to get distracted, especially when you are creative, because that was something I struggled with was shiny object syndrome, because I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a digital course. I'm going to redo my website. I'm going to, whatever,
Right.
because I could see it all the way through. I could see the end, and I could see, yes, there's possibility there, and there's possibility there, and there's possibility there. But I wasn't. There's only one me.
Right.
And what was really in alignment with me and my purpose, what was going to stand the test of time? Sure. Could they all be successful? Yeah.
I want to ask you a question that you don't have to go deep into it if you don't want to, but when you mentioned it was 2017, I think you said, was in your like not get out of bed kind of mode. How long do you think that low point was for you? And then second part of that question is, you mentioned therapist. When does someone recognize that I'm not able to do this myself? I need to maybe talk to somebody in that profession or somebody at all. You kind of admit that I need somebody outside of me to help me.
I would say when you feel lost, or when you feel like things that used to bring you joy don't bring you joy anymore. Yeah, I think that would be a big flashing sign, neon sign.
How long were you stuck there personally? Was it like a week? Or
I have no idea.
A couple months?
I can't remember.
Oh, really?
That's a question for my therapist. Why can't I remember? Gee.
I didn't mean to break the
Not
barrier
really
there,
sure. No, but truthfully, I don't know.
No, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now that you're in the neuro coaching job in that field, what is it that's like? Give me an example or two of how you've helped somebody, obviously without names. Like, can you do that?
Yeah.
Because I think you've, I know I've sent some folks to you, and the experience is, I think it's a great experience for them to, whatever they need. It's a little bit more confidence, a little bit of just shifting in their thinking, and to see them kind of break out and get to that next level, or break the barrier down so they can move forward, whatever it is.
I think the biggest thing is they have to want it. They can't be forced into it. I actually had a conversation with a man who wanted to gift me to his son, who was having struggles. He's in his 30s, new job, new location, just broke up with his girlfriend, just dealing with some insecurities. And I said, we can't make that decision for him. He has to feel comfortable with me. He has to want this. He has to recognize that he has the solutions. But I will say, I have a client who came to me when he was going through a divorce. I'm smiling because his success was just off the charts. Let's see. He's mid-40s.
So my age.
Going through a divorce, small business owner, 2 small children. and successful. And he just didn't know how his life got the way that it got. He's like, I don't know how I got here. How did I get here? There's a lot of people that think that. How did I get here? How could I have let this happen? You know, when you're in business for yourself, you see a challenge, you try a bunch of solutions, and you know you can get over it. You can get through it. There's a lot you can control when it comes to business. When it comes to other people and relationships, you can't control other people. You just can't. So I think that it's a big struggle for people going through a divorce who are in business for themselves because they feel like they should have done better. They should have had the answer. They should have been able to make it work. But that's not necessarily the case. And so they struggle with their identity as they're going through a situation like that because it speaks to a lot about who they are at the core. And then they start to question everything. Am I really good at business? Am I really a good parent? So many questions. And I think that timing is a really important piece to this too. So he was at a low point in his life, but he also knew that he could be successful at getting over it. And this was something he'd never tried before, curious about it, and said, I'm going to give it my all. He lost almost 50 pounds.
Wow.
Now within months, okay, not a year, less than a year. We met weekly. He lost almost 50 pounds. He had his first $1 million year.
Wow.
He set up a schedule for his kids and his soon-to-be ex-wife, like came to better terms.
Yep.
He improved the relationship with his mother. She would call and he wouldn't answer because he didn't know how to navigate conversations. He improved the relationship with her. She's now coming to Thanksgiving. Gosh, those are just a few.
She probably wanted to help too.
I mean,
maybe the door was open.
There's so many. Yeah. There's so many nuances. But when you get stuck in a trend, sometimes it's like boiling the frog. I'm sure you've heard that term before. Where like you can turn the temperature up. I hate it. It's so gross.
It is pretty gross.
I love frogs, and I feel so bad for this poor frog.
We are amphibious supporters.
I'm pro-amphibian.
Pro-amphibian.
But no, it's true.
Yeah.
Little unnoticeable changes over a long term can really make a difference in how you see life and how your life kind of transpires.
So as your wealth builds, so does the amount of pressure that surrounds you, right? Maybe your income is still higher than ever and your business has more revenue than ever, but you're also thinking about your family, your employees and their families, debts that you need to pay off, taxes that you want to minimize, cash flows to track, all while trying to stay excellent at your job and innovative within your industry. Our team at Stonehouse helps you manage your personal wealth, whether it's in your retirement plan, your business, or any other place. While you're busy out there conquering the world and trying to take care of others, don't forget about taking care of yourself. Contact Stonehouse to see how we can help make your life better. So this is probably an unfair question, and you can slap me or say, move on. But in the midst of all this, and you finally get your career going back in there in the direction that you wanted, and I'm assuming that things, with your family was falling back in place as well, and then suddenly it wasn't, right? So you've fairly recently gone through your own divorce. We just mentioned that with your client. That's a tough time. It's tough for everybody.
Yeah.
How do you, I mean, that's such a broad question. I was going to say, how do you handle that while maintaining the business and maintaining the relationship with your girls and everything?
Yeah. I've spoken to a lot of people one-on-one about my situation. I haven't spoken publicly, and it is very private.
It's your podcast.
It's my podcast.
I mean,
yeah, it is challenging. It is challenging, and it's heartbreaking. But I will say I'm so grateful to have had the tools that I had, including a therapist, but also the mindset work to be aware of what I was going through on the inside, what my brain was doing. When we are up against our comfort zone, when we go outside of our comfort zone, that's when our subconscious is a little bit louder because it wants to push us back.
Yep.
Go back to where we're safe. And safety is just familiarity to the brain. So as I was going outside of my comfort zone, what are people going to think of me? What's going to happen with my kids? You know, what is this going to look like? Where am I going to live? How am I going to afford health insurance? You know, as a business owner, like now I have to pay for this myself. All the things, all the hundreds of thousands of questions I had. I could also hear the subconscious beliefs sprinkling in there. And a lot of this transpired because of the work I was doing on myself. That's kind of what I do believe that I think this would have happened long term on its own, but I do think, and this may deter people from choosing to do neurocoaching, but you know, I realized I had a belief that I don't matter. It's not about me. And so as someone who runs a business and needs to make a living, I thought, well, if I rewire that, that's going to increase my self-worth, my self-value, and potentially make me more successful. This belief could be potentially holding me back in both life and business. So I was like, I'm going to rewire it. And so I used the tools on myself. And so that's exactly what did happen. I did start to believe I mattered. I did start to get on a healthier physical routine. I hired a personal trainer. I took a nutrition class. I lost 16 pounds. I got really strong. At the same time,
Hey, you're running Spartan races.
I was running Spartan races, like super fun. Joined a gym, grew a whole new community of friends there. And I developed friendships in other businesses. I started to ask more questions. I did get more successful in business, and my marriage began to crumble. It wasn't built on the steadiest foundation. And I take full responsibility for my side of that. I don't regret a single thing ever. My children are the most important things in my life. And again, I do think it probably would have crumbled later down the road. Again, I don't regret anything, but I do think sometimes going through a divorce could take so many years and so much stress and so much hardship and take so much away from other areas of your life, especially your health, especially your finances, especially your business if you're a business owner. Not to mention like your just mental well-being. But I was able to use the tools that I had as a neuro coach to design the life I wanted before I even left the life I didn't want. I had a very clear vision of where I was going. I had completely redesigned and in my head rebranded divorce. I told myself over and over again, this is going to be the best divorce anyone's ever heard about. We're going to have a better relationship than we've ever had before. Our kids are going to be happy and thrive. They're going to feel more loved than they ever have before. And that was the vision I had for myself. We're going to keep all the good and get rid of the bad. You know, instead of having one beautiful home for the children, they're going to have two. They're going to have two beautiful, amazing homes filled with love. And I didn't focus on the bad. I didn't focus on the fear. I didn't focus on the doubt and the scarcity and the lack. I focused on the opportunity and how I was going to make sure that I created the best possible outcome there possibly could be. And I focused on that and I kept it top of mind because there were times that were very challenging.
I'm sure, yeah. I feel like divorce often feels like everybody has like, many of our clients have great intentions when they're walking through, like, yeah, we're going through it's going to be pretty quick and easy though. We've got like, and I'm like, it never goes swimmingly, right? And I think the best way I would describe it is it seems to suck the oxygen out of both people's lives to an extent, right? But you found a way to reframe that in your mind.
I had
really
to.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it was it perfect? No. Can I tell his side of the story? No, that wouldn't be fair for me to do. All I could speak to is my perspective and how I felt and the choices I made and the thoughts I chose.
Yeah. I mean, divorce has become very common in our society. So I think most people don't need to know those details, right? But but what's interesting for this conversation is how you were able to, in your own way, get through it and not just like limp through it, but like commit to, we're going to get through to a much better place as a whole family. And it'll be a different family on the other side of this, but let's get to work. Right. And, you know, were you right? Was it the best outcome that you could have? And
I mean, we're doing okay right now. We're doing okay.
Yeah, and I don't mean in a judgment of whether you guys should ever. I mean, were you right in that you're in a better place than you were, and hopefully you guys continue.
I feel great
on your own paths, and
I am so happy.
Good.
And we're less than 2 years out, and I've felt happy for a while, and I think he's happy.
Good. Good. Well, then let's move on.
Okay.
It's a good topic though, because a lot of people are going through it, right? So it's not something you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Get help.
Right?
And you know, if our entire lives are decades of creating this groove in our brain and this like track that our thoughts are running through constantly, is it still serving you at this point right now? If it's not, it only takes a couple months to rewire that groove. It only takes 67 days. Yeah. It takes a few weeks or months to get to the point where we can start that.
Say 67.
67 days.
That's very specific.
I know. It's some neuroscience stuff. But really, you can start to see a change within 2 months. So how do you put a price on that change? And that's what my client said. He's like, I could never put a value on this. He's like, I'm a better father. I'm a more attentive father. He's like, if I took one of the wins that I got from this and tried to put a price on it, it would be priceless. He's like, he's like, I couldn't. I absolutely couldn't. Because we've had so many conversations about like, what does this mean to you? And he seriously couldn't say enough. But that dedication of a couple months and that dedication of dollars over the next long term of your future of your life, how could you put a price on that? Yeah. It's invaluable.
So you help, I get where and I've seen firsthand where you've helped people. You talked about having a vision all the time. Like I can see through the other side, right? So where you are right now, what do you see as like, you know, what's out there for you?
For me?
Personally.
Oh, I want it all.
What is it?
What is it all?
Yeah.
I want to be in the best shape of my life and the best health of my life. I want to have like the dream partner. Okay. You know, like whatever that looks like. I'm not even 100% sure of that.
You
right
won't
now.
know it to
yeah.
see.
Yeah. I want thriving and healthy, happy children and plenty of opportunities for them. But in business, you know, I just love making an impact in people's lives. I love like giving that one little thing that can change their whole perspective. And if that happens on a podcast or in a conversation or in a coaching session or, you know, anything, however that's going to take, if it's a speech, a workshop, whatever that takes, I'm here for it. But I want to grow the coaching and speaking side of things.
Nice.
Yeah. I want to just impact as many people as possible. So maybe a book.
A book.
Maybe
okay.
a book.
Right.
I'm not sure what it'll be yet.
This is why I've always enjoyed being your friend. I feel like, I don't know, friends help friends, right? And so I kind of feel funny because I feel like I wish I was there to kind of help you. I didn't know any of that stuff.
That's okay.
But then again, maybe I would have screwed it up for you.
Yeah. Well, you know, I would have felt uncomfortable because you were my client too.
Yeah.
You know?
I get that.
Yeah. So I wouldn't have wanted to muddy those waters.
Yeah.
In any way.
So you and I have teamed up to do this podcast.
Yeah.
And you asked me this question when I was in that chair. So what are you hoping to get from this podcast? Why are you doing it?
I'm thinking about the audience, and I'm thinking about me when I was clueless and lost and tired, driving my children back and forth to daycare. And, those podcasts really, I don't know if it was like a distraction, but they catapulted me out of the day-to-day humdrum, repeated, boring,
music and
all of it.
news. Yeah.
Just even the thoughts that were in my mind and the same conversations I was having with myself or with my friends or with my family. It was just the same. But it was like this dose of, oh my God, someone understands the business piece. There are other people out there who understand what it feels like to be a mom and to run a business and to have these thoughts and have these feelings. And that felt really good to me. So I'm thinking about the audience, and I'm thinking, if there are business owners out there who feel lost or feel like they're not truly seen or really truly understood, or or they just love to learn, I'm hoping that they will, I'm hoping they'll be inspired by our guests. I want them to learn from our guests. I want them to potentially network with our guests. And also just be a resource, like you and I be resources for the audience as well.
Years ago when I asked Bill Rourke to be on the podcast, right? And then when he said yes, I had to actually go buy the equipment because I didn't have anything. Talk about get it sold before you actually do it. But when he came on, and the whole premise was the same concept, I find him to be individually just an amazing guy. And a lot of things I could learn from him. But I said to him, I was like, Bill, many people will never get a chance to sit down and listen to this, right? And to me, that's why, collectively, I can't imagine how many podcasts we've listened to. And there's still more and more out there all the time. But just to tune in. And what I hope from our podcast that we'll get is not just that people can relate, oh, there's somebody that's gone through what I've gone through, but to also hear how they can get through those things too, or they can benefit from this strategy or that, and partnerships and things like that. That to me is super valuable.
The how, you're right. Everybody wants the how.
Yeah.
Everybody wants the how.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
And a lot of these people that we're going to have in here, we have already figured that out, but we'll have to probably have some of them back because we couldn't get into all those details. An hour and a half is long enough, I guess. But what question didn't I ask you that you wish I did?
I don't know. I think I'm good. I'm sure we'll have lots of time.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have lots of time going through this. We'll probably make more of these videos, but this has been great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for, thank you for doing this with me, because it's, this is one of the more fun parts of my job or my position. And it might be the part that actually helps the most people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. Thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're
I've
done.
been wanting a podcast for 5 years, but I didn't want to do it alone.
No, there's always somebody to do something. See that? Partnering.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
You got it.
Good job, Bob. Well, that's a wrap on today's episode of Beyond the Bottom Line. Thank you for listening. If this conversation sparked something for you, please let us know. Follow, share, or leave a review. It helps us keep having the conversations we love that you love to listen to. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more real talk from real leaders. Until then, here's to feeling successful beyond the bottom line.